Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Donna May Abundo, and I am the first presenter for Introduction to Production and Operation Management. First is, what is production and operation management? Production and operation management is a process which combines and transforms various resources used in the production operation subsystem of the organization into value-added product services in controlled manner. So it means there, for example, there is a big system where there are subsystem which controls the resources and the flow of the services in the big organizations or in the big system. In addition, it is part of an organization which is concerned with the transformation of a range of inputs into the required products or services having the requisite quality level. For, Moreover, production management is associated with managing all those activities that are involved in the production of manufacturing of final products and services for the benefits or the use of human, and that is according to Studios Guide. For the third slide, we need also take note that production management is a set of interrelated management activities which are involved in manufacturing certain products. And if the same concept is extended to services management, then the corresponding set of management activities is called as operation management. Again, production management is a set of interrelated management activities. For the fourth slide, these functions are the activities listed under production and operation management: the location of facilities, the plant of layouts and material handling, product design, process design, production and planning control, quality control, material management, and maintenance management. Later on, after me, they are going to discuss each one of this, and they will going to give examples for these functions. For the last part of my report is the difference between production and operation management. For production, it involves manufacturing of a tangible products. Tangible product are products that are products that we can physically touch. And for the operation, it involves rendering of kind of services such as electricity, cooking, gas, and etc. And for the production, for the second one is, it is used in a narrow sense, so it means limited or exact. For the operation, it is used in a broad sense. So do you see the difference? For the production, again, in a narrow sense, and for the operation, in a broad sense. So for the third part, is, it is applied to a manufacturing organizations such as industry. So examples of manufacturing organization is the Nestle Corporation, San Miguel Corporation, or Petron Corporation. And for the operation, it is applied to a non-manufacturing organizations such as a bank, insurance, agriculture, transportation, warehousing, and etc. Again, it is applied to a manufacturing organization for production, and for the operation, it is applied to a non-manufacturing organizations. And for the fourth one, for production, it will have a closing stock at the end of the accounting year. So an example for that is, it is an amount of unsold rather unsold product or goods that remain with the business in a given time. So it is like they're having an inventory of an unsold product. So here in the operation, there is nothing like closing stocks. So it is understandable naman. And for the last one, demand for product is regular. For the production, again, demand for product is regular. For the operation, demand for services fluctuate time to time. So the demand for services fluctuate time to time because it is, according to the article that I read, um, according to the Monash Business University, um, demand service fluctuate time to time though because it is a response of an economic change or condition or a consumer pattern or a consumer spending pattern. So that's it for my report. I think Barca is the next reporter. Thank you.
Hello guys, I'm Danica Joyce Abarca, and today I will discuss the evolution of production and operation management production concept. For over 2 centuries, operations and production management has been recognized as an important factor in a country's economic growth. The traditional view of manufacturing management began in 18th century when Adam Smith recognized the economic benefits of specialization of labor. He recommended breaking of jobs down into sub-tasks and recognizes workers to specialized tasks in which they will become highly skilled and efficient. In the early 20th century, Frederick Taylor implemented Smith's theories and developed scientific management. From then till 1930, many techniques were developed prevailing the traditional view. Brief information about the contributions to manufacturing management. Operations management was a shift in the service and manufacturing sectors of the economy. As service sector became more prominent, the change from production to operations emphasized the broadening of our field to service organizations. The second, more suitable change was the beginning of an emphasis on synthesis rather than just analysis in management practices. In addition, operations management is the act of controlling and directing the design, production and delivery of products. Although people have been producing and selling products since the very beginning of civilization, the implementation of operations management is a relatively new phenomenon. Operations management came to prominence in the 20th century, but its root can be traced back to the 18th and 19th centuries. Concepts of production and operations management. Production operations management is defined as the process which transforms the inputs resources of an organization into final goods or services through a set of defined, controlled and repeatable policies. By policies, we refer to the rules that add value to the final output.
Hi, my name is Greg Agitan for the Week 1 Reporters, and I will be the third reporter, and my topic is the objectives of production management. So the objective of the production management is to produce the goods and services of the right quality and quantity at the right time and the right manufacturing cost. So there are 4 factors in order to achieve the objectives of production management. Right quality. So right quality is the product established based upon the customer's needs. The right quality is not necessarily the best quality. So why is it not necessarily for the quality to be the best quality? So it is because a certain product is determined by its cost and characteristics as it's suited to the specific requirement. So for example, is a cell phone. If the purpose of the phone is just for texting or just for calling, but does not need to have a good camera or for just for online gaming, the manufacturer does not include these features for the cell phone. So the next one is the right quantity. So manufacturing organizations should produce the product in the right number. So we are all very familiar to this because that if the manufacturer produces in excess of demand, then the capital will lock up in the form of inventory. And if the quantity is produced in a short demand, then it will lead to the shortage of products. So the right quality is important in production management to avoid excess and losses. So next is the right time. Right time. So timeliness of delivery is one of the important parameter. So of course it is important. So sabihin natin na let's say na you have the right quality and quantity, but your timeliness in delivering your product is lacking, then for sure you will lose a lot of your customers or buyers. So the next is the right manufacturing cost. So right manufacturing cost is established before the product is actually manufactured. So we all know that what is manufacturing cost. These are the costs incurred during the production of a product, like the direct materials, the labors, and the manufacturing overhead, or the indirect costs. Those are the indirect costs. For example, the rent of the building, the utilities, and of course the maintenance, and etc. etc. So next, okay, yung topic, operating system. So operating system converts inputs in order to provide outputs, which are required by a customer. It converts physical resources into outputs, the functions of which is to satisfy the customer's wants, that is to provide some utility for the customer. So operating system, example of this is operating system is the process where it converts the physical resources into outputs. So examples are bus, the taxis services, hospitals, tailors, and builders, because these organizations produces physical goods and services. Those are the example because taxi itself is a physical resources, and the services they offered are the outputs. Next is the concept of operation. So an operation is defined in terms of the mission it serves for the organization, technology it employs, and the human and the managerial process it involves. Operation in the organization can be categorized into manufacturing operations and service operations. So there are two categories in operations in an organization. So the first one is the manufacturing operation, which is the conversion process that includes the manufacturing yields a tangible output, or just what we call the product. So the second one is the service operations, which is a process that includes the service yields intangible output, like for example is the deed, the performance, and the effort. So the distributions between manufacturing operations and service operations. So characteristics. So the following are that can be considered for distinguishing the manufacturing operations with the service operations. So the first one is the tangible or intangible nature of output, or what we call the products. The next one is the consumption of output, or these are the outputs that customers consume. Number three is the nature of work or the job. These are the job that uses less labor and more for the equipment. So number four is the degree of customer contact. So or the little customer contact. Five is the customer's participation in conversion. There is no customer participation in the conversion process or the production of the product. Number six is measurement of performance. So these are the sophisticated methods for measuring the productions and activities and the resources consumption of the product are made. The next is element of production management and operation management. So these are the following are the operation that the operation manager should be concerned. So the first one is planning. Planning is an activity that establishes a course of action and guide the future decision making is planning. So, if you are a operation manager, you should have a plan to achieve the organization objectives. So, operation managers are concerned for the operations in the organization's overall strategy, where it involves the product planning, the facility designing, and using the conversion processes. Next one is organizing. This is the activities that establish a structure of tasks and authority. Operation managers establish a structure of roles and flow of information within the operation subsystem. So, from the word itself, organizing, it means sila yung nag-organize ng dapat gawin inside the operation subsystems. So, like they determine the roles of each person and the tasks and the responsibilities that they need to do in order to achieve the organization objectives. So, the next one is controlling. Activities that assure the actual performance in accordance with planned performance. So, operation managers measure the performance by comparing the actual outputs of the plans of operation management. So, this is important for them to know if they are in the scheduled time or if they are performing well or not. So, the next one is behavior. So, operation managers are concerned with how their efforts to plan, organize, and control can affect human behavior. They also want to know how the behavior of subordinates can affect the management planning, organizing, and controlling actions. If operation manager are also concerned on human behavior, they want to know if what they have planned can affect of their subordinates or not. So meaning if they are on the same page or not. That is why every organization there is a meeting and brainstorming from time to time. So the last one is model. As operation managers plan, organize, and control the conversion process, they encounter many problems and must make many decisions. So, to identify these problems, they use models like aggregate planning, which they can analyze and develop and maintaining a manufacturing plan with emphasize uninterrupted and consistent production. So that will be the end of my report, and the next reporter will be Miss Amihan.